And we all the way live.
The reason I'm pausing here is because for black folks, church is a big deal. Some even say the term Sunday best came from slaves having one good outfit their owners bought them for church.
Right.
Which, to be fair,
Teach these devils.
Teach these devils.
Yeah. Oh, yes, y'all. And it don't stop. Once again, we back as if we never left. Oh, yes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sunday's Best Podcast. Oh, yes. Episode number 17, I believe it is. And oh, my goodness, I am excited for today. Oh, I've had this marked on my calendar today. I have been looking forward to this, man. Oh, I got some wonderful guests in the building, too. They're right there, right? Mike, special guest in the building. You want me to do it? You want to? We got 95 minutes, you know?
Wagwan. What's up?
What it do?
What's up? It's Doni Blvck. What's up?
Yo, what's going on? This is Membrain.
You guys didn't do AKAs? Yo, what's up? It's your boy Roscoe.
Oh, my fault. Doni Blvck, a.k.a. Young 90s, a.k.a. Young Suave,
Okay.
a.k.a.
I'm done. All right. Tell them who you are.
Membrain, aka Breezy, aka Bran Flakes, aka
Brain Flakes.
I don't know,
Bran
milk
Flakes.
chocolate.
Milk chocolate. Yo, it's Roscoe, aka Mr. Keys,
Mr.
aka Young Coconut Milk Poppy, aka
Coconut
Young
milk,
Ross
eh?
Scorsese, aka
This is true.
why your girl in my DM saying, "Hey, stop messaging me. I have a boyfriend."
Oh, my goodness. That's how we're going to start.
That's how we do it.
That's the energy we're
If
starting.
If that's your girl, why she in my DM saying, "Leave me alone"?
Oh. I didn't think we were gonna get that real.
I mean,
I like the AKAs. You know, I had Donnie on my show once before.
Yes, sir.
He went by a different name when he was there.
True.
You know, we were talking a whole bunch of woke black shit. Now we're
Cool.
doing the whole rap thing. You know, you came in with your group and you're gonna what happened? That was February. Now you're rapping.
See, the difference, not even a difference, like that, the old name is, those that know me, that carries a lot of weight in terms of, like, they know me for one thing.
Yeah.
That name knows me for one thing. So
What was that one thing?
playing basketball,
Where
playing sports, playing basketball.
it's tough being a young black boy.
It is. That's
It's
some
hard
real
being known
shit.
for stuff
Can't
other than
relate.
that. We'll get there. We'll get to the relate.
No,
It's
there's
all good.
trust.
It's
There's
all good.
definitely struggles. Anyway, so there's a lot of when you do one thing, for example, like playing basketball your entire life. If I were to just come out and be like, yo, I'm making music now, they'd be like, what do you mean? You're gonna stop playing ball and play music? Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because I've heard people say that from other players or other people that have taken that switch, right? So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna rebrand everything, new name, new everything, from
The
new
whole reputation,
new mindset, the
everything.
whole reputation from
Whole
top to
thing.
bottom. So this is what it is.
I found that interesting too, just because like you were like anybody that doesn't know who hasn't seen the last podcast that I had Donnie on, like Donnie is one of my day ones. Like, you know, he was there with me. He was always, you know, from basketball to like when I first started rapping, like he was always like a big supporter with that. And you were the best basketball player I ever played with, you know? Like I played against the Andrew Wigginses and everything like you did too, you know? Like I seen talent and everything. Why? What was the main reason for the switch? Why? Was there a jarring main reason for it?
I think athletes and music go together so well.
Synonymous.
It's so
We
synonymous.
want to be
For
them, they
example,
want to be us.
Exactly,
True.
right? So anybody, not even just athletes, but I guess anytime you're prepping or you're trying to get into a certain mindset, like you listen to music, right? So
yeah.
Going through tough times, hard times, the times where people could give me slack because like, what are you complaining for? You play basketball, like your life's perfect.
All you gotta do is dribble a ball, shut up and dribble.
Literally,
Woo!
that's that people think that my life's perfect, right? So it's just like I'm not gonna come to some people that think my life's perfect with problems.
Right.
So sometimes you deal with those problems yourself through
Okay.
music, and I learned a lot of shit through music, through my favorite artists, through trials, tribulations, the whole nine. So I just feel like this is someone told me that you should always sharpen the skills that you're already good at in terms of picking up a whole nother skill. And from
Yeah, you're already kind of good at rapping.
you know what I'm saying?
He
like
is,
like
right.
no like I'm not that's I'm
No,
just saying
I
in
don't,
terms of I'm saying in terms of me paying attention to the culture, paying attention to the music, lyrics, the whole nine. Like, I feel like I can provide something for that. So after I'm up with these guys know in and outs of the technical shit, the whatever you want to know, they know. I ask them bare questions about it. So once I hooked up with them, I was like, this is definitely gonna be a done deal.
So you hooked up with Membrain and Roskoeyes. Shout out, hold on. Membrain's got on a Parkside sweater. You know, I wanted to shout out Parkside. I think they're doing their last show soon.
Yeah, they are.
Shout out,
Unfortunate.
another one of my
RIP.
day ones, Aiden Stoddard. You know,
Shouts
even
out.
though Homeboy won't send me the pictures from the video shoot.
Ooh.
It's okay.
I can send you those.
Yo, Aiden,
Still
send us
Homeboy.
pictures,
Still
dog.
all love. It's still, you know, Parkside.
Yo, don't worry,
still
we'll
there.
pull up. We'll pull up.
No, I'm really just.
I know you
asking.
got those pictures.
I had some bangers on there, bro. I gotta post, you know, so for the podcast. I need some sweeter man
Oh, of
pics.
course.
Anyway, but you know, Membrain though.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started, like when I was rapping, I put out probably my second mixtape,
Mhm.
and I got into the whole shows and performing. That was always being a performer. One of my
Yeah.
favorite parts about, you know, doing all that. And I remember you reached out to me to do a show at Smiling Buddha, I believe, and then like another
Yeah.
one. And so I remember those things, you know,
Cool.
like how
Yeah.
things go back. And it's like
Mhm.
I played football with your younger
My
brother
younger
for
brother,
so
yeah,
many years.
yeah.
And I just how did that journey come? Like how does point A and point B? You start, you know,
Starting from
high
high
school.
school.
I remember being in the same high school with you,
Yeah.
and now you have high production music videos. You know, I
Thank
was
you.
on like the music video you're gonna hear at the end of this podcast, and the song that I was playing at the beginning, "Bop It." Like I was in the music video and on
Yeah.
set with these guys, and like I just want to say, like the production, everything, the professionalism was really on
Cool.
point. So
Appreciate that, man. We try really hard with that stuff.
I'm interested into how you got from that kid in that Asian kid at high school.
Yeah.
Now you're making really dope music videos.
Yeah, man. Just that random
dropping
kid.
rhymes.
Absolutely.
How does that happen?
How does that happen? Well, you know, you got to go on the roller coaster of life, right? Like I started off going to university like every regular kid and found out that it wasn't for me. So ended up.
Was there a moment?
Pardon?
Was there a moment where you knew exactly?
It was my second year of university. My first semester, it was cold as fuck. It was in like December. I was living in a basement of this shitty house.
What school?
Of Guelph, University of
Okay,
Guelph.
okay.
And like I had to cover up my window, my only window that I had to the outside world, because it was so cold, to like insulate and shit. So I would never see
No
the
sunlight.
sunlight really. Yeah. So I would spend like days inside and just being really depressed and not wanting to like do anything. It's like, damn, if this is such a toll on me, why the fuck am I doing this? And so I ended up fucking dropping out, and it was the best decision that I ever made, because I ended up linking up.
Can you reiterate that?
Yeah.
The best decision you ever
It
made.
is the best decision I ever made, because I fell flat on my ass in terms of where I wanted to go in my life and had no idea. And I ended up linking up with Roscoe, and he recorded one of my first songs. And
Gang.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
that's good for you,
Yeah,
man.
man.
That's a scary risk to take. That's
Yeah.
a leap of faith.
It
that you
is a
took
huge
there,
leap
you
of
know?
faith.
I
It
don't
is.
like, there's so many things that I
Mhm.
like to, you know, take that leap of faith with. And it's like, I don't think people really realize like that whole, like kind of what Trevor was just saying, like when you make that decision, like, yo, I'm going to start making music, there's a certain
Yeah.
connotation that comes with it when you tell
Absolutely.
people, right? And just between everything you described,
Yeah.
the whole like existentialism of going to university and not
Mhm.
knowing, you know, what am I going to do after this, if I even like this. So I think it's interesting to see where that came from. And then you said you linked up with Roscoe. It's almost like y'all like rehearsed how to transition. This
Like
is all
I always
did,
knew
we
Roscoe
rehearsed.
was making music. Like
Yeah.
back in high school, he
Always making
dropped
music.
some like music videos and stuff like that, and I knew he was doing his thing. And we've always stayed like good friends even after high school, sort of thing. And you know, like I saw him doing his thing, and I thought music was the next big step for me, because it's always been a part of my life, sort of thing. And we linked up, and we made some songs together, and it turned out that I wanted to learn more about this stuff. So him pushing me, and my parents actually pushing me to like wanting to get a job in the field doing that sort of thing, like pushed me to go to school. And I went to Seneca, and I learned so much
like
stuff
about
there
the production side of it.
about the whole entire music industry in general.
That's probably more important, to be
It
honest.
is.
You can learn how to do the board. and
Yeah, you
everything
can
on your
learn how
own.
to do that stuff, but I think it's really important to learn how the business aspect of it, because I think It's more so the business than the music. As hard as that sounds to some people, that's what it is at the end of the day. And that's like what is going to push you. Like the music may be good, but if you don't have the proper business mindset or aspect of like your music, it's not going to go anywhere.
Kids, you want to be big in music and everything, you're listening, like everything Membrain just said, like that was so important. I'm glad you articulated that.
Drop knowledge for y'all.
Absolutely. Okay,
Straight gems.
Roscoe,
What's good?
were you also at Holy Trinity too?
I was.
Okay, yeah.
I was.
Okay,
Very low
you're
key.
you're exactly who I remember then. Because I remember at HT, I came when I was in grade 11.
Okay.
There was Alex Foster Roman, you know,
Okay.
and there was the AFOS black and yellow thing. He made the whole pep rally
Yeah,
video. And I came
yeah.
in, I started rap battling people, I remember. And then I remember like Tallulah told me, I think it was, shout out to Tallulah.
Shout out to Lua if you listen to this. Tallulah,
Yo, yeah, his birthday
That's
like
my
2
man.
days ago.
Yo,
Or something
was
like
it?
that.
Yo,
So
happy
happy
belated
related to
I love you,
Tallulah.
brother. Hit me up again.
And he was, and I remember he put me on to you and was kind of like, you know, have you heard? Did you have the same name back then?
I did, but yeah, I did.
Okay, I remember listening to it and like actually like this was when I was super like, you know, somebody say like, yo, like I'm the best rapper, I can prove it. Everybody thinks I'm not the best rapper. I'll come to your house and I'll rap for you, you know. And I remember Tallulah being like, yo, man, like this guy's pretty good. And I remember hearing your shit and being like nervous, like that kind of like because I'm super competitive like
no,
that.
of course,
and
I am
like,
too. I'm super competitive. Like I will shit on you if I have to. And
Facts.
but,
True.
Facts.
Yeah, but fucking.
Oh, the gunshots delayed. You'll hear it.
I had bars in high school.
He did.
I had bars in high school, bro.
He had mad
Like,
Talk to him.
Fortress.
I don't
Talk
know what
to
it
him.
is. I don't know what it is, but like I had bars, and it's like, yo, I want you to match this, but you can't match those bars.
Talk to
And the
him.
thing is, I can't be that anymore. I can't be in my prime. I felt like that was my prime.
Kids
but-
don't care
Nah,
about
man.
bars.
No,
Yeah.
yo,
That's
no.
the issue.
If you
Yeah,
if
it's
you hear
hard-
some of the
hard
shit this
knock.
guy has, this guy's not even in his prime yet.
Bro.
Jesus.
No, I don't know.
Still
Y'all
working
gassing me
on
up
it.
way too much. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about that, man.
What is it? Okay, hold on. I think this is an interesting conversation too because we're in a bit of a paradigm shift with music, right?
Yep.
With hip hop and the whole landscape of how things sound, what's cool, what's not. Like everything is sort of in a big shift of it.
Yep.
Bars kind of seem to be fizzling out. They kind of seem to be on their way out. People aren't like when you hear a hot bar, I feel like people don't give it the appreciation it's deserved.
In terms
People
of
are
like,
almost like turned off by bars. They'll hear like a nigga spazzing, like really going in, talking that shit, and it's like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I don't want to have to think in like. I think it's a very interesting sentiment. Because and you know what, Regis, you better keep that same energy when you come on here and we have this conversation.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know
Oh,
what?
fucking,
Yo, I think
What is
That
your guys'
shit-
opinion?
Oh wait,
on
are
it?
we allowed to swear on here?
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Yo, fuck you. But
Yeah. No
I think-
N-bombs.
Oh, no, I was about to drop bare N-bombs. Like,
Nah, nigga, it's cool. You can say. Me and Trev can say
if
it.
y'all don't know what I look like, I'm a 6'2" black male with green eyes, and I'm just D's this
I was
fuck.
mad intimidated when I walked back in the studio.
Like he's low key our artist, producer, and bodyguard.
Word.
True.
Word,
He's
eh?
all the above.
What were we talking
Drake
about?
calls him Jay Prince.
Bars.
I call him Roscoe.
I call him Roscoe. Roscoe, no chicken waffles.
Roscoe.
No chicken waffles, man.
Oh.
You with the chicken waffles, dog.
Yo, that's not even a bar, bro. Like, yo. I mean, like, if it was like behind a hot beat, then like, yo, then it could be a thing. Then it could go on. But like,
It's the
If I can't
cadence. You didn't
slap in
take in
my
the cadence
card,
properly.
bro.
That's why.
But yo, with that, honestly, I think
Yeah.
I think bars can still be a thing. It's just delivery is now
Delivery,
We
for
don't
sure.
Delivery is
people
key,
don't take
yeah.
it in, but delivery is so important now. And the fact that everyone kind of sounds the same, and
yeah.
for example, people sound the same, you don't really know who's telling the truth. Like a
Well-
big thing for me is like if you're saying like I need to believe you, you know what I'm saying?
That's
so it's
me.
like
Likewise, that's my biggest thing. I
So
need
it's-
the
Mhm.
authenticity, believing, like, you know, it
Absolutely.
needs to work for me.
exactly right. So if people all sound the same, then it's like everyone that sounds the same in that group is gonna be like, all right, well, I can't really take you guys seriously. So that's gonna affect how you listen to it. So even if they're spitting like the most fire bars you ever heard, you're not gonna take it serious because it's not real.
And also, I think the delivery you said was very important because, like, a lot of the time, like, there is a couple flows I feel like people would use when hip hop was like really in its inception, right? Like, there
Mhm.
wasn't the abundance of melodies and flows that there is
Absolutely.
now.
Yeah.
And it was easy. Like, I felt like if you were a rapper in the late 90s, early 2000s, like, the only challenge you had to be was have better bars than 4 or 5 different dudes, right? And that was it. If you had better bars, you were the better rapper. Like that was kind of like how it went. Now it's, you know, who's got the most hits, who can make the club turn out and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I feel
because you guys rap.
Yeah.
You guys are rappers. You guys
we
have
do
bars.
rap.
You rap,
yeah.
rap.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, we do some rapping. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I feel as a rapper who's from that, you know, that bars shit, like you said, from high school, it can feel a little discouraging going forward with music, right? Like, oh, if I don't make it like sound like a certain way or something like that, if I don't adhere to the whole, you know, sort of mumble rap shit that's taking over, right?
Yeah.
Not that I haven't, well, I have a few things against it, but I like mumble rap.
I absolutely have
love
some
mumble
things against it. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know where I was going with that, but I love mumble rap as well. Like I think if you're pressured to sound like mumble rap, then that's on you. I don't think you should take that path if you don't want to. Like if that's not the sound you're going for, just stay true to your artistry.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of people that
agree
blew
with
up
that
that
sentiment.
stayed true to the artistry. That was mad weird. Like fucking like Juice WRLD. Definitely was mad trappy, but he has
Shout out
mad
Juice
emo
WRLD
shit.
and Future.
Shout out to Lil Peep as well. Lil Peep was on that emo
May
shit.
he ever
Blew the
rest
hell
in
up.
paradise.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Lil
X
Peep.
as well. Like he just didn't give a
Absolutely.
fuck about no limitations. Like people just stayed true to artistry and just like blew up loving what they did and who they were.
Yeah, I agree because there's also like, because hip hop's so mainstream and it's so pop now, right? Like you go on the hot top 10 Billboard and all the songs are hip hop songs, right? There's that leaves more of like a wide range of subgenres and little sort of niche markets in the community for that. So like it allows for people to kind of just fuck with what they only like. And there is bars. Like there are guys out there that have bars. And some of them are the big, like J. Cole and Kendrick got bars. Like, and they're the biggest rappers in the world. So like you look for it, you can find it, right?
Yep.
I kind of like that. Like I kind of like how rap is so mainstream now, because just like you were saying how back in the day, if you were better than 5 rappers and you were that rapper, right? But now it's like, all right, you got bars. All right, cool. How's your cadence? How's your beats? How's your marketing? How's your this? So it makes you cover more bases. So although you have a whole bunch of artists in the pool right now, because of there's so many different ways to put your music out, it's the people that rise to the top are the ones that actually sit down and understand that it's more than just I have bars. There's a whole other
science to it.
Science inside of it that if you don't study up on it, then you're just gonna be another rapper with bars.
And it's funny because like a lot of the old head OG type rappers will have that sentiment of like, oh, like you have it so lucky. You have all the social media, you have all the resources to put things out. It's cheap to make a song in your room and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, if all I had to do was be better than 4 niggas, like would have been easy. I would have been blown up.
You gotta make good shit. That's all it is. Like make some
and this actually
real shit. This shit that's real.
Authenticity. It needs to be believable. But this actually sort of transitions into the first topic that I really want to get into now, because I sort of prefaced it. You guys sort of opposed me on this. And it's like, you know, I see it kind of happened when I heard the Juice WRLD and Future tape, right? That came out and I just feel like it slapped, like, you know, shout out Future Juice. It slapped. I really enjoyed that tape. And I just feel like there's so much, like we said, changing in the landscape of hip hop, and I think so much of it is accredited to Future, and so much of that work was done by Future, and I just feel like he's not getting that credit. And I feel like maybe, you know, I said it really boldly like this before. I feel like guys like the Migos sort of get more of the credit in that situation, and other rappers too. Like they kind of run with a lot of the things, like, you know, like the Cap and like all that. Like I feel like he's like culture. He invents things. He transcends it. So, and I just feel like, you know, my man Future needs to get the credit he due. But I feel like you guys sort of may oppose that a little bit.
No, man, I totally agree.
Oh, okay.
For me,
go ahead, bro.
I think
Future
that
gets enough credit.
he totally gets the credit he deserves. He is somebody who can put minimal effort into a song and make it sound fucking amazing. So I think he
But that's what the Migos did. They said culture too. They didn't spend more than 15 minutes on a song, right?
Oh, also Future is mad depressed if you listen to his lyrics. Man is mad sad.
We need to check up on Future.
Yeah, we need
mental
to
health
call
and
up, be like,
stuff.
hey, Future, you good?
True.
Like, we could talk. Like, slide in my DMs, you know, if everything's good with you, like, see what's going on, man. Like, is you good?
That's like that's a very, very real thing. Like I think like Future's got some demons, and it's just like you said about Lil Peep, Mac Miller, X, all these guys. Like I have like I think about my favorite rappers a little bit differently now. Like I see Lil Wayne taking all the syrup and doing all the drugs. I'm like, I don't want to lose like Lil Wayne, you know?
For
Like,
real.
it
True.
was really when you
real.
lose those guys.
One
so,
of the
like,
OGs, one of the greats.
Lil Wayne is a robot and he runs on lean and Sprite.
Yeah, I always thought that too, especially with the Carter 5 coming out.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yo,
man.
can we?
Carter 5? Yo,
But it's
can we play Upward right quick?
Yo,
Like
Roscoe wants to do
breakdance
the upper challenge.
challenge.
Right here in this
Oh
studio.
no.
hey.
Yo, you should have seen Homeboy on the oh man, on set with his girl. This man was pulling all the dance moves.
Oh,
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
you know,
we
shots
seen
my
that.
Wait,
girl.
didn't you start like that? Like with the whole dance stuff?
What do you mean?
Were you a dancer?
No.
You're not a dancer?
Oh
No,
no,
I
yo.
did.
Whoa.
Hold on,
I'm not a
Interesting,
dancer. I'm not a
interesting.
dancer. I can dance
Piku?
though.
Piku,
I can
hold
dance
on.
though.
I
A
remember you
popo?
in high school as that guy that could.
Interesting.
Hey,
Yo,
so,
you gotta-
you know, I can dance.
Very interesting story.
I can
So,
dance.
funny how we all like kind of connect. We're all from the same high school.
Yeah.
Me and
All
Roscoe.
four of us are from
Yo,
the same.
all four of
me
us.
and Johnny,
Yeah.
Me and Roscoe have been boys since grade 7, 8.
Since,
Like
dog.
That was holy
Since-
name days. Eh?
Holy
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
Family
what-
Days, St.
dog,
Mike's
we
Days.
used to-
Like you
Yeah.
could probably find it on it's gonna be my
No,
exposure.
no,
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 my exposure.
No, I know exactly.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
no,
up to it
no,
right
you
now,
don't
so-
even know exactly where you're
I'm
from.
gonna do it right now.
I got
so.
links.
Anyway,
DM me later for
so
him.
You're like
um,
much and don't have the time to go find that jerking video of you on.
not even
Oh,
not
not
even
even jerking.
Whoa. It's sea walking videos, dog. There's a difference. More swagger than
Hit
sea
him with
walking
that
videos. You
footwork.
feel me?
Hit him with that
Hit him with the
footwork.
footwork one time. Yeah, me and Roscoe been boys for time. We started making like sea walk videos back in the day, and that's funny how like we connected years
Through
later.
music,
We get through
it's,
music.
it's
So
fucked.
yeah,
Life is fucked. Oh, we can swear, right?
it's kind of funny how
Fuck,
life
dog.
comes full circle. Yeah.
Last podcast, we did a whole 25 minutes on Hitler and
Well,
why.
I'm sorry.
Yo, shouts out to Hitler.
Yo,
You fucked up,
yo,
dog.
by the
Like, I
way-
don't
by the
know
way-
what you did, but
by
you
the
went
way,
the
that
wrong
painting-
path, dog.
That painting, that was a dope painting, bro.
Would you keep it in your house?
Can I see it?
If I knew who painted it, no.
Exactly.
I would.
Exactly. That was the point I was trying to make the whole podcast last time. But yeah, I was saying how yeah, you can say whatever. And real quick, you were saying I really wanted to talk about this. You're saying you guys were doing sea walk videos.
Shouts out, Sea Walking.
Yo,
up.
that's some nigga shit, Trey.
So true.
Whoa. Oh,
That's some
okay.
that's some yo.
You
Yo,
know
I
that?
know the
No,
culture,
no,
dog.
No,
Do I
listen.
get the
I
pass?
know the
Do I get the
culture.
pass? I get the pass?
Hold on.
Hold on. You
No, you're wrong.
Wait a second.
Yo, chill, mother.
Too late.
Yo, boy, if you
Like that's some shit. Like I don't know if I know how to. Like maybe I'm too light skinned to even off the top of my head know how to sea walk. But I'm just saying.
Yo, that shit's fun, man. I like
Just real
that shit's fun. So, yo, that shit's coming back. So watch out, 95s. We're bringing that shit.
We're bringing
back,
all
man,
the hot
bro.
dance
We're
moves
bringing-
back. Jerkin.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep.
Just know that when I was 13, I had better footwork than you do have now.
Facts. Yo, I deadass learned sea walking
Roscoe
from.
wants all the smoke.
I learned sea walking from Roscoe. I seen his videos. I was like, yo, that shit looks dope as fuck.
Yo, one time-
I started learning it.
Yo,
from
one
that
time
shit.
the police fucking cornered me into this one like just this alleyway, right? And I fucking sea walked my way out of there. Like my footwork was nuts, dog. I was like, yo, this came
Just
in
crossed him out,
handy.
eh?
Man was like, oh, where's he going? And then
This guy heel
I'm
toed
gone.
out the, out the alleyway.
I shuffled up the wall into the rooftop, and I was gone, dog.
That's jokes.
I gotta go to a YG concert with Roscoe.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
Do you dance? Hey, do you dance?
Oh, that's different though. You know, they see that dance, they get upset.
Yeah,
Right?
I know someone find that video
What
on
up,
YouTube,
blood?
but
Anyways, all that gang shit aside,
Gang shit.
that's some real cultural shit, right?
of
Now,
course, I love that shit.
ask me, what's your podcast about, Chris? I can't give you a good answer on that. The only thing I can tell you is that my podcast for the culture. Every Sunday we're talking about the culture, right?
For the
Absolutely.
culture,
Now-
baby.
Now, you can dance, you can rap, you got swag and everything like that.
Hey,
bro.
you know,
Somebody
that's
might
the
say you were
culture.
black in your previous life or something like that.
I don't know about
You
that,
seem,
but
no, I was being very facetious. when I said that.
yeah, a little bit.
But in all seriousness, you seem as someone that's very immersed in the culture, somebody that is like well informed and knows about it and can, navigate very well through it.
Yeah.
And both of you, like you said, are Filipino, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that white people's place in hip hop and the culture would be different than you two, than being Asian. I feel like you fit differently into the
It's
culture,
probably
right?
because the color of my skin, but
But like I'd like to explore that because like I actually like my like when I really wanted to start rapping, the first person that I saw, I was like, yo, I want to do exactly like that was Jin, you know? And it's like on 106 in Park, Freestyle
Shouts out to
Friday,
Jin.
all the little kids that don't know what I'm talking about. But that, and it's like, it's funny how Trev said that, you know, you were the person that taught him how to sea walk and stuff. And it's like, in this age of wokeness and everybody like, oh, that's for us. Like, you know, you can't have like an Asian person or a white person doing black stuff. And it's, I don't think that.
What's
I'm just
black stuff?
the culture.
What's black stuff?
Sea walking, rapping, dressing a certain way.
Oh, you mean
talking
urban.
a certain way.
You mean urban.
Okay, that's another, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But no, seriously though, I just want to feel, do you ever feel like people may make you feel unwelcome or like things like that? Because I feel like it's, hip hop is an all encompassing thing. It shouldn't be a divide on skin colors or where you're from
Absolutely.
or
No, for sure.
ethnicity
No,
or
I
something.
feel
So
like,
I want to know about both of your experiences.
Yeah.
with it.
I feel like if I'm crossing the line, I hope that someone tells me. But I'm just doing what I love because I hated music growing up. Like I just didn't listen to anything. My mom was a single mom growing up. She had a boyfriend, and like he introduced me all the hip hop shit, like Tupac, fucking Usher, and like TLC. Shout out TLC.
Shout out to TLC.
Players,
Shouts
they
out.
gon' play,
Saw them live at
and
OVO
haters,
Fest.
they gon'
Chili, I
hate.
love you.
Oh, you were there.
Ballers, they gon' ball. But yeah, shout out to TLC. And he just introduced me to the whole culture. I started wearing fucking Roskoeyes, fucking
Oh, yeah.
double XL Roskoeyes.
I seen this. I seen
Like-
this in you before. Like I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I wore the super fucking. My mom couldn't afford me Tims. I wore fucking lugs, dog.
Yeah.
Like
The
lugs
struggle.
with a
Bro,
baggy ass
I
jeans.
know those days, bro.
Bro,
I
you
know
know
those
what I'm
days.
talking
I know
But-
those
Bro,
And
days.
it's not
or
bro.
the
like-
cheap Nike ones that look like the boot,
Oh,
like Timberlands,
bro,
like
bro.
We still rock it
No.
anyway.
Oh, shout
Make
out
it
to
fresh
you guys
anyway.
know the jump off. You know the jump off.
Jump
You know
Off
this song?
and Dixie
Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah. No, shout out to jump off. Yo, I got all my shirts from there.
Shout out, bro. Oh, I need to give
I
it
didn't
one
freshest-
time for the jump.
The
off.
freshest
um,
Bugs Bunny wearing chain tees ever, bro.
I got the Tasmanian
God.
devil with the fucking the white tuxedo with the fedora and the AK on his back.
Can we talk about how wild of an era that was when we
It
were
was.
wearing spray painted like cartoon characters on us?
Can you believe that was a shit? It was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. I'm like, yeah, that looks
Have you
good on
think
me.
Elmo was selling crack out here? Jesus, bro, that shit was crazy. I love that. I wanted every single one.
From the year 2000 to 2009, nobody, not one single person in the culture was dressed well. Not one.
No,
Not
I agree.
one person.
That's why we don't talk about that anymore. That's why no one talks about this shit ever.
Imagine
We only
social
talk about the
media.
music, but that's it.
Imagine
Great
social media.
music, but terrible fashion.
It's funny because that's my
Those fit
favorite
Fridays.
era of like the
Right.
throwback jerseys and everything.
Oh,
Like,
man.
oh,
man.
Beautiful.
oh, wow, like the kids don't even know about that
They
today,
won't.
yo.
That was a whole
They
different.
don't know
I
what they know about
man.
Anishi and Rockaware and
Exactly.
what was it, Sean John? and-
Sean John.
Apple bottom. Because that was like
I've
Nelly.
I've never
That was
heard
Nelly,
Apple
wasn't it?
Bombs until that fucking Flow Rider song. to be
Baby
honest.
Fat.
Baby
Who's
Fat.
that?
I remember
Baby Fat. I
Fat
remember that
Farm.
shit.
Is that Nelly? Nelly's Apple bottom. What am I saying?
You know what was a weird transition period, because it was a weird transition period for music, like Drake and like all those guys coming in 2009, like the Wale's and Kid Cudi's and stuff. But like that fashion, that whole jerking, like colorful jean,
Hey.
wearing glasses that don't have lenses in it, wearing a
Yo.
foxtail out of your back pocket.
I still have my
Yo.
foxtails just hanging in my room.
Yo,
Shouts out
I
my
don't do
foxtails.
this to rock that foxtail low key. So
that was a wild era.
That was
It
a wild
was.
era.
Was.
Yo, y'all went to the movies just to pop out the shit out the 3D lens. You know that. You know that for a fact. You know that
Wore
for a
that shit
fact,
for
and you
aesthetics,
wore
Guys
that
exposing
That
you.
shit ain't
You
no
wore
aesthetics.
that.
Exposing you guys.
with your single color matching fit. I know what you wear.
Yo,
I know your style.
Oh my
Color.
god.
My bad.
You guys are wearing all yellow today, right?
I like the energy Roscoe came with today, man. He came with
Yo,
us.
Mike, dude.
I am high as fuck
My
and drunk
dude.
as fuck. So that's how we do it out here. Shouts out weed being legalized in Canada.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Air horns, can I get air horns on that bitch?
Of course.
Shouts out
We
Canada.
can talk about this too. Look at you
I
guys
don't
just
know,
naturally
bro.
transitioning my topic.
We're still. I
I don't know. Is it legal?
don't know. Roscoe, you wanna?
Yes.
Is illegal.
Is it
Yeah,
legal?
yeah.
Really? No. Seriously, is it legal?
Yeah, man. It
I don't-
absolutely is legal. I
It
know
is-
we were
it is
we were
legal.
having a
Yeah,
conversation
we're having
today
a
in the car
conversation,
about
yeah.
this, but I think it's absolutely legal. And I think it's fantastic.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's legal. Like it's legal. It's decriminalized and everything. But you know, just some technical difficulties. Let me
No
switch the
worries.
I
cameras
spilled
up
a beer
there.
everywhere. I'm so sorry.
He spilled it on himself. It's all good.
It's okay. No, we live in our best lives out here. It's Sunday.
It's true. Sunday, Monday.
Sunday
Yo,
fun.
shout out to Sunday being the worst day of the week because we all have to go to work tomorrow.
Yo,
That's
that's
cool.
why.
I actually
yo,
don't mind,
real
but that's
shit,
all right.
that's why I started
Sure.
Sundays best. I hated Sundays. It was my least favorite day of the week. It was like people say Mondays or whatever. Nah, Sundays you got to think about Monday all day. No?
But at least we're having fun on this Sunday.
Yo,
Yeah,
on
we are.
facts.
Shouts
Sunday's
out.
best.
Shouts out.
Meow, 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 meow,
Always
meow.
have it right on time, you know?
We should all real quick. We should all encourage to do shit that makes us not want to be miserable on a Monday. I want to put that out there.
Oh shit.
True.
I'll put that out there real
Okay,
quick.
Trev,
So
what
With a motivation.
Wow.
on
The
it.
Teach these devils.
better,
wanna-
like, yo,
teach
better
these
than
I just want to put that out
tactics,
because
eh?
that whole Monday, like I always felt the same way, but I just want to put that out there too. Positive energy, bring that shit back.
Yeah, you got to do the things you like on Monday. Make sure. That's why I like podcasting and shit. So I'm gonna do a podcast every Sunday
Exactly.
to make me stop hating Sundays.
Exactly.
Cool.
Anyways,
Right.
And now look, it's Sunday's best.
Yeah, you give the best you very have, right?
Yep.
Legalizing weed.
Yeah.
I also read an article about how, like, this is before weed was even legal, that if you're crossing the border into the United States,
Yep.
that they can bar you for life from entering the United States.
They can.
Why?
They're working
admit
towards
to
fixing
smoking
that
weed.
law,
Huh?
but they're working towards fixing that law. But absolutely,
Yeah,
like they
need
do
to-
that
Why
need to
can they
fix
do that?
shit.
Why can they do that?
because it's technically illegal in the United States.
What?
Like weed is
Oh, like bringing
like,
weed across the border.
like weed in general, like
First of all, you shouldn't
under
do
federal
that.
law. Yeah,
No,
you
but
should do
they-
that.
in the
It's
first
silly.
place.
If they ask you, apparently, if you've ever
If you've
smoked,
smoked
weed
weed.
in your life, and you say yes, they can say
No
you're not-
fucking way.
Yeah.
bro, I've heard it happening to people.
It's
and
happening to
they're
people.
right. I read an article about it yesterday.
And you know what
This
you
is
do?
why, like, are we living in like the 50s or some shit, bro? Like,
I know.
like,
Jesus Christ.
I heard about that there was an arrest made for pot, like right at like 12:05 midnight on when it went legal. Like, cops are dicks, man. Like, they're actually like, it's a troll thing. They're raiding all the dispensaries downtown Toronto.
Yep.
And like, on it, I wasn't even gonna do this week, but you know what? I do a segment every week called the Waste Man of the Week, and
Yeah.
I honestly, I need to hand.
Wasteman of the week.
I need to serve this. I need to serve this up to the Toronto Police Department and
Do it up.
Ontario's government.
Do it
Go
up.
for it.
Just like,
Man
yo,
of the week.
y'all are some fucking waste mans. Acting
drink
like
to
this
that.
shit is some like criminal stage 3 drug. This isn't heroin. This is
Uh-huh.
marijuana. This is a regular substance that helps people live their lives and actually saves lives too. So the fact that we're doing all the shit that we're doing, all the bureaucracy, jumping through all the hoops, all the raids and everything like that, let people have their shit. Let people have
let
their
people-
fucking
We have our
medicine.
shit,
You know what? You know what? Police. I know you were bullied in high school, and you want to become cops to feel like a sense of like authority and just like
Talk to
make
him,
up for
bro.
that shit.
Talk
But
to
like,
him.
you know, let us have our weed. We're not doing shit. Just let us have a weed.
Like, just
we're
because you
peaceful.
got C's in all high school and then weren't
Ooh.
able to transition out of it and everything
Ooh.
like that, and you have like a obsession for authority and telling niggas what to do
Uh-huh.
and shit. Now you
Uh-huh.
want to be a fucking cop and you want to take
Uh-huh.
motherfuckers' medicines and shit.
Nah,
Yo,
nah,
fuck
nah,
you,
nah,
waste
nah,
man.
nah.
Waste man of the
Waste
week.
man.
Waste
You know
man of the week. Doug Ford,
Exactly.
Ontario's, all their government and
Mhm.
the Toronto Police Department. I'm sorry, y'all are the waste man of the week because y'all are not handling this shit properly.
Shouts out to Hamilton. They are. They got
but
all
for
Talk
real,
about it.
please,
I didn't
for real,
know
talk
this
about it
until
because
today.
like I don't know all that shit and we don't know all that shit. So
What?
explain like the whole like it becoming legal. Because I'm against it, to be honest.
Against legalization of weed.
Yeah.
I love the
All
fact
right,
that I
we're
can
gonna
walk down the
fight
street and
after this.
smoke a
Hold
J
on,
and
hold
just.
on.
Hold
We're gonna fight after
on.
this. Hold on.
You
hold
are
on.
against.
Why are you against
I'm
this?
against it,
Please
man.
tell me.
I don't know. I was talking to him.
Oh, wait. First of all, it doesn't really matter if it's legal or not. We still smoke it, right? We still smoke it.
Of course.
That's different.
Exactly.
That's different. That part's
Alright.
different. Okay.
All right.
The fact that it's now being legalized, I think, Kate, the government, for example, of all people, the government is not gonna. I feel like they're not gonna put a go on something unless they're benefiting from it, right? Whether that be control, whether that is, and we know that they're getting money from being taxed, but I feel like this is just like something doesn't feel right, bro. For example,
Mhm,
I'm seeing articles about how there's now a shortage in weed, right?
mhm.
So if there's a shortage, whether that source is factual or not, that's another
I
story.
need the
But
credible sources.
yeah, for real, like I want to see if it's as credible as it sounds.
I heard that too, by the way.
See,
Yeah.
so if I'll bring it to food. When we have a shortage on food, what do? We have genetically modified foods, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if we have a shortage on weed,
Teach these devils.
what's gonna happen?
Well, I heard about that too.
You're
though.
gonna get
I heard
fatter
that they have
buds and
GMO
you're gonna
weed
get
already.
fatter
That's-
THC
exactly.
content.
So-
Weed,
so-
nothing's bad about
marijuana.
that.
So having
Nothing
that, and
better,
there's these are just theories that are in my head that I think about. I'm not saying they're factual. These are I'm just putting this out there because maybe there's someone that thinks the same way that I feel. For example, there's not been
like any type of documented death from weed, right?
Yeah. Oh no,
Directly.
We know it's safe.
Right. So is it far-fetched to say at some point in the future we're gonna start seeing articles about how weed is bad for your body?
Well,
Because I've already seen articles saying that weed upsets your stomach. Smoking a lot of weed upsets your stomach. I've never seen an article before the
I
talk
agree
of
with that.
legalizing
bro, I
weed.
woke up so hungover 2 days ago, and my stomach hurt so much, and I ripped a bowl, and I felt so.
That's
much
what I'm
better. Like, I don't know what you
saying.
mean. Like,
Oh.
no, you're saying it makes your stomach hurt. Like, it made my stomach.
No,
stop
I'm
hurt,
not
you
saying
know?
that. I'm saying
I
the
know.
article. So it's like if people are putting this shit out into the world already, like I feel like I'm saying in the next 10, 20 years, we're gonna have deathths from weed.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Deaths.
Deaths
Maybe
from-
if people
plural.
are allergic.
People
We'll
are
see
going
our
to start
We'll see how. Okay. No,
more than one.
I don't know, man.
I
There's
don't
gonna
know.
be some
Like,
from
There's probably gonna be some
from
shit that,
random
like,
natural, whether it's from the weed being messed up, whether it's from false. Something's gonna happen, bro. This doesn't feel
like they're
right.
gonna say some
know,
shit
man.
like this weed causes cancer.
something
like
relating
that. It's
to
gonna be
that,
some-
bro.
when it comes to weed, I
you
kind
know,
of always
it's
have that
news.
Cat Williams approach. You know, like weed gets stronger every 3 weeks. They work.
Cat
on
Williams
it, man.
also got murked by 8th graders, so I'm not sure if that applies.
But
If his
yeah.
word is valid.
I don't know. Just y'all got some bad shit going on in your life. I don't know. Smoke some motherfucking weed. See if it don't change your perspective on the culture.
Yup.
Oh,
You
I
know?
also agree with that.
You know.
Yeah, you're right.
Hot take though, Trev. Okay.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Interesting.
Came through with the fuego take.
Came through with the fuego take. I
We'll
like
see.
it.
We'll see in a decade.
What else is going on? What else is rampant in the culture, would you say? I felt like last season when I did this podcast, I would talk about football like almost every Sunday because
Oh, I don't watch football, so
no, yeah, I stopped watching football as well. I used
Why
to
is
be
that?
really into it because of the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, because of the kneeling. I can't fuck with that. I can't get behind an organization that treats their livelihood, their players, like livestock, like they're slaves and stuff like that, especially with the correlation of them all, like the talented ones being African American, then the ones that are quarterbacks that aren't, they get special treatment. Like there are so many things, and just that alone, right? And then the Colin Kaepernick situation. And I just wanted to sort of bring up, they approached a lot of people to do the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year, and who do they have there? Maroon 5? Or I think it's
Maroon
Maroon 5,
I think
Cardi B, and
well.
Travis Scott are
Yeah,
supposed to
something
make an
like that.
appearance too,
Something
right?
like
Okay.
Apparently it just came out in the media that they approached Rihanna about doing the halftime Super Bowl show, and she turned it down in support of Colin Kaepernick.
Good for her.
Hey, shouts out Rihanna.
Shouts out Rihanna, shout out baby girl. I'll be home like later tonight. Let me live, bro.
You know, hey, you know, it's our
But yeah, of
the
course.
air word.
I needed that. But I don't. If y'all were offered the Super Bowl halftime performance,
Mhm.
Donnie, Roscoe, Membrain, what would you do? Would you accept it?
Right
You know,
now,
fuck
Right
the
now,
NFL.
100%.
Hell no.
1,000%.
I honestly,
First
dead
of all,
ass.
if I was Rihanna, I'm Rihanna. Like I'm Rihanna. I'm already making money off Fenty, which is like the fucking like #1 makeup brand right now.
Shouts out Fenty.
Over Kylie
excellence.
Jenner. Shouts out Fenty.
Black
Black
excellence, shouts out Fancy.
Support local black business and fuck.
God damn,
super-
Roscoe's for the fucking culture.
For the
bro.
culture.
You see why I'm with him? You see why he's my boy?
You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I'm Rihanna. Like fuck the
Whatever.
NFL. She's fuck the fucking NFL, dog.
I disagree. I think it's a
Holy
great
fuck.
entertainment source.
Yeah, because I'm
That's true,
fucking-
too. No,
Okay.
Okay,
he's
first of all,
right.
football
No,
is
he's
not
right, bro.
basketball.
Ooh,
Different
talk
sport,
about
though.
it.
That's it.
Talk about
That's
it. Talk
That's
about
it.
it.
No, go ahead.
I'm
No,
just
you're
saying,
right,
I'm
bro.
just
What
saying,
do you
I'm
mean when you
saying-
say that,
I'm just-
Roscoe?
I'm just saying, like, you know, I'd rather watch basketball. You know, have a great time. Watch.
And that's you,
Thing
man.
is, so would every fucking buddy else. Man. Everybody would rather watch basketball than football. They make the most money. People watch it on TV
Yeah.
the most. They have the highest salary caps, and for good reason.
For sure. And your players are making your money for you. Why don't you just respect your players? Like, if you don't have your players, what do you have?
I don't know. You got a bunch of white guys in suits.
If I wanted to see that,
At
I'd go to
concession
Young
stands.
and Dundas and just look around.
Word, eh?
True.
You know what? Bringing it back close to home, I just wanted to talk about something I talked about last week, and I was sort of presenting the issue. I didn't even write this down or tell you guys what I was going to talk about. I just wanted to sidebar. This Instagram account, Toronto Abusers, that's kind of highlighting a lot of the rapists, abusers, and sexual assault, all the shitty human beings in Toronto, and it's giving the victims sort of a platform to voice themselves. And I just wanted to really make it clear, like the last podcast, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is a sort of, and just after further reviewing, like I can see the positive that it's doing, and I think that this is a good thing and a good platform for victims to be able to speak out and have solidarity and things like that. So I just wanted to say, shout out Toronto Abusers, because I think they are doing a good thing despite like the liberties that you are taking with people's lives. Close to home in Toronto, right? What else going on in the
is anyone following that account?
I am not
Toronto
personally.
Abusers?
This is the first time I'm hearing
about
it.
it before today.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm hearing
following
it personally. Yeah.
So what is that
Interesting.
account? It's just like
It's an account where women are just sort of telling their story about.
That's great.
Good for you.
I want to follow
feels
it, but
better
there's
than-
like
I think
a
that
whole
takes a
bunch
lot of
different
courage
accounts
for
now. I don't
somebody
know
to
what's
do
the
that.
real-
Absolutely,
what's the
it's
real
fantastic.
account?
The real account's just Toronto Abusers. Ladies, anybody out there that's been
Good for you.
abused,
Stay strong. Be
you know.
empowered. Get your story out there so people can hear it and it can get traction and people will know about these other shitty people. So good for you.
Yeah, for real,
Absolutely.
that shit's not a joke.
Yeah, just
please.
warn
not a
other
joke.
people
It's
that
not a
like,
joke,
yo, this person, which is my boss, also touched my ass. Just warn other people. Like,
And
Don't-
those
don't
that
indulge
and those
them.
that are the ones listening to the ones that have gone through that experience, be mindful of the fact that it is fucking hard for them to come to you in the first place.
Absolutely.
And like the fact that they're doing that, like just listen first and then respond. Don't fucking like assume that you know how they're feeling, because none of us.
Being a male, it's a very
It's very hard.
we can't fathom that. Like,
Not at
I
all,
couldn't
bro.
imagine being a woman in that
Not even
situation and stuff.
close.
So like the only thing we could do in those situations is listen and do our best to understand and try and combat like these
because I
abusers and
talked to a
stuff.
lot of my homegirls and like they all feel like terrified walking down the street alone. Like they have keys in like their hands. They have like fucking weapons just ready. It's like on their toes at all times.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine like.
I don't have to think about that
Oh,
shit.
I
Yeah.
don't have to think about that at
You don't
all.
have to think about that shit.
And,
We just
like,
go home.
And
No.
it's also just why like I totally dissected it in everything last episode, but I just wanted to reiterate the point that like I may have sounded like 50-50 on it, and I think it's important to be really decisive on an issue like this. That that's a great platform. Guys, girls, anybody that's been abused, Toronto Abusers, you should use that platform.
Yeah, you're right.
I
Guys
agree,
and
100%.
girls.
Guys
Guys
and girls,
and
because
girls.
it happens.
It happens to everybody.
Yes.
Real quick before we get into the top 5 segment, I had like a funny sort of, I guess it wasn't funny. I had this sort of interaction in my group chat with some of my boys, and one of them was kind of like, "Hey, how's people's mental health today?" And like, I think one person replied, and then like someone else was kind of like, "Yo, shut up, dog. Like, yo, stop being like a little bitch or something." And that's one KHOA. It's one thing like for the mental health, right? Like, 'cause this is so rampant. It's like, bro, we need to be serious about mental health, but like we can get there. But I think Bill Burr even did a comedy like bit on this. Just how funny, like we men, like we could treat each other and everybody else so much better if we didn't have like this like homophobic tendency to like
Toxic masculinity.
Well, that's
Toxic
exactly what I'm describing,
masculinity.
right? That's exactly what I'm describing.
I'm scared to look like a pussy.
But just like, we can't, like, we're scared. Like, we won't look out for each other. Like, we won't ask how somebody is. We won't check in with people because that's gay or something like that. Like, that's so ridiculous.
Facts.
I personally like to do that every day. And every time I'm with these dudes, I like to ask them how they're feeling because I care about the motherfuckers that are around me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that personally.
That's a
Very
real thing,
important.
man.
Yeah, man. And I think mental health is a very, very serious thing and a very serious topic right now.
It's very
And it's
serious.
important to keep everybody that is around you or like people that you know just like up and positive energy towards them.
I agree. And I think it's just very, especially in the time of Me Too and lots of women's issues, I think it's important for men to sort of take a prioritizing approach to thinking about mental health, because I think
Absolutely.
mental health is very much a men's issue as much as it is a woman's issue, but it's everybody's issue. But I just think men, they kill themselves more. We're more prone to have certain, mental illnesses and stuff like that. So like, check in with your goddamn friends, guys.
Absolutely.
Check in with your friends.
because it's tough
And, like,
as
don't
guys.
do that
All my
that-
friends,
that
I love you.
homophobic kind of like, oh, it's gay to like check up on it. First of all,
No,
like
absolutely
being
not.
gay, like there's nothing like
Wrong
negative
with
about
it.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's
just,
inappropriate
like,
about it,
we need
no.
to dead that whole negative connotation.
Oh,
with
for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
but-
You have to take care of it. Shouts out to Charlemagne, but he said people go to doctors to check up on their bodies, like people go to therapists to check up on their minds. It's the exact same thing. It's not fucking pussy to see a therapist.
Mhm.
You gotta take care of yourself mentally as well, because your mental controls most everything, like
For
you
real,
go through
man.
for all your life.
It's tough for
And
guys
it's,
too.
It's
There's
not
like
that hard. Like just
Talk about-
to your
go-
friends.
living in this world, like being a guy, like as cold as it sounds, unless you have some type of value, you're not loved, or you're not seen the same way as like this is coming from a man. Like if you're a man, if you don't have like a certain, you don't bring certain value, whether it's in a relationship, if you're not like, or if whether it's at work, then you're seen in a certain way. So that holds a lot on us. So if you can't like, sorry, I was confused.
No, Roscoe just gotta go to
Yeah,
lunch.
my bad. Anyway, so what I was saying was, as a guy,
Being a man in like the whole mental health side of it.
yeah. So as a guy, like having that pressure where you need to have value in society, or else you're seen as weak, as soft. Then that's tough on the guy. And being that the guy has to continue to be masculine, they're not going to speak out about the fact that they're feeling a certain type of way, because that's going to go against what they have to be to the public eye. So men, just talk to a therapist, talk to whoever you
Talk to your friends. Talk to somebody who you're comfortable with.
It's
Talk
like,
to your wife,
oftentimes,
you know?
oftentimes, like
Talk to your girlfriend.
it's almost like it's described like the epitome almost of being a man is to like not have emotions, right?
It's
Like,
true,
that's
yeah,
it's
and it's
almost how they describe
upsetting.
it sometimes, right?
Very
That like
upsetting.
the I don't know why that's happening, but
It's weird.
yeah, that was weird. When Roscoe gets back and we'll get it popping. But it's you're like not allowed to have emotions almost. Like that's like the cliche sort of thing. And it's like it's almost a little to be harping about like an issue about this like with men when there's so many things with women, but it's important and it's a conversation that we 1000% need to have every fucking day.
I agree.
Real quick too, before we get into top fives. Y'all got anything to plug? What y'all got going on right now?
We're all working on some music. We're all working very, very hard. I'm working on some singles right now. I think I'm working on a project right now. I know I'm working with these guys on some singles as a whole 95. We got a very, very cool song for you guys coming up.
Honestly,
Like not today, but like in the future, we have a really, really cool song. That's all I'm gonna say. It's very fun
I'm
and very
excited.
uplifting.
I'm excited
Okay.
because as a group, like we can all come together and have a hot track, and separately we all have our own sound. So it's nice to hear what each other are doing,
Mhm.
and then come together and drop a nice.
It's
one,
big
you know what I'm saying?
motivation, man.
It's real
These guys
motivation.
help me push my music to get where I want it to be.
It
I'm
sounds
excited.
like you guys push and motivate each other and kind of make up for the things one another may lack or something like that. And I think
Yeah.
it's you don't see a lot of that with duos or groups, trios and stuff like that. It's kind of just
We
the
got true
dudes.
camaraderie.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
we're
really-
gonna get a lane that's not really been tapped into, and I'm actually excited to get this going. To be
Mhm.
honest.
Word. Shout out Ryan for enjoying the topics and everything like that. We got some people listening.
Shout out Ryan.
Cool.
What's up,
Shout
Ryan?
out my boy, that Cactus Fam. But so I didn't do it last week, but every week I'm doing this new segment called Top 5.
Top five.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the time people like I know a lot of shit, I feel like.
Okay,
and
are you
it's
taking off
just,
that?
like,
You got that
okay,
do-rag?
okay.
Yo, let me see
Oh,
the wave.
yo,
Yo, wave check right now.
Bro, how you gonna drop that? I don't even have my water wings, dog. I didn't bring my water wings. I don't have my floaties. I don't have my swimming trunks. I don't have a pool.
I'm drowning.
Dog,
I'm drowning.
I can't
Before I
swim.
get into top 5, which camera is it? That no, is that Vicky? This isn't 1080. This isn't 1080p. This is 720p. This isn't HD.
Better take a look.
It looks fine.
Better take a look.
The man looks fine.
Boy must have
The
some
work,
Indian
Bro,
in
take
the
a
there.
look.
work was put in. The work was put in.
Oh,
No. Let him know. Talk to him.
Looking
No,
fresh.
it's like an inside joke. Like shout out Vicky because I had a really nice conversation with her.
shout out Vicky.
I had a very insightful
Shout out to
conversation
Vicky.
with her, and I told her I was going to shout her out on the podcast.
Shouts out
Hey,
Vicky.
Shout out
Real
Vicky.
quick. Shouts out my sister. She told me to shout her out.
Shout out
Shouts out Tiffany
yo.
McNeil.
Oh,
shouts out Tip.
Oh,
Just
last
came off a
time-
home opener W on Friday. Let's get it. Seneca College. Shouts out. Let's go.
Let's go.
Air horns.
Still putting in work.
I'm really happy to hear that Tiffany's
Still
still
putting
putting in work.
Of course.
Saying she's nicer than her brother now.
She's nicer than her brother. She's nicer.
Oh.
Yo, when you gotta pass the torch, you pass the torch. You know, I'm saying, bro.
It's a good attitude to have.
If we're doing shout outs, shouts out my baby girl Julia. If you're listening, which she probably isn't, but hey, you know, I love you either way.
That's love. That's real right there.
Hey, you
That's
know,
what the Carters
I
preach
got
about.
you.
Uh,
Also, you're cool, and thanks for not being toxic. So hey,
That's
all at you.
real shit.
That's real love.
Shout out all the women that aren't
Love.
toxic. Shout out the non-toxic women. Out
Shout
there.
Shout out to the non-toxic women out
Women
there.
and men.
And men.
And men.
I think
And
there's
men.
way more toxic men than there are
Jeez.
toxic
Oh,
women.
for
So
real.
shout
For
out to
sure,
the
for sure.
non-toxic men
Yeah.
too. Y'all non-problematic motherfuckers don't get enough credit. Anyways,
Speaking of problematic,
I know a lot of weird shit, right?
Facts.
I know a lot of weird miscellaneous type of shit. And the way I come to knowing all these weird things, what keeps me up at night always, I'm a big fan of lists. Anything that is ranked chronologically in order, from
Okay.
best to worst, anything like that really, really amuses me. I really like that kind of shit. And there's this website called Listverse. They have the most obscure lists on
Just
every type of
random-ass
topic. Yeah.
lists.
Now on YouTube, they got list channels, stuff like that. I love lists. That's how I learn about things, right? So I like, as for fun, as like a competitive sort of hip hop barbershop sort of thing. I like putting things on pedestal. I like comparing things. I like doing the top 5 thing. I like that
I'm liking
conversation.
this.
I
I like
love
where she's
having that
going.
conversation. It's my favorite
I
thing
don't
to
like
do.
where this
The
is
top
I'm
going.
excited. I'm
So-
excited.
Oh, yeah.
Every week we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna do a top 5. We're gonna pick a subject. I'm gonna try and make them interesting, not overdone topics. But we're gonna do a top 5 every week. We were gonna
Let's
do
get
one
it.
last week, but
Let's get it.
niggas
Oh,
got
boy.
wild and said top
All
5
right, bring that-
genocides,
bring
and
that
we're not
heat.
doing top
Oh
5
Bring that
genocides.
heat.
jeez,
Bring
that
that
is
heat.
hard.
I
Let's do it.
think.
Let's do it.
I'll have the stinger edited. Because anyways, with all this Pusha T and Drake nonsense taking place,
You're
right?
going up with the
True.
big guns now.
I know I dissected
Yeah.
it all last week, so I'm kind of done with it. But it's just like there's a lot of this, right? A lot
I've
of.
never spoke about. I'm down to talk about this. I've never.
Well,
I've
we're
never
gonna.
have.
I think we're gonna have to in the the topics that we're having, the top 5 that we're doing. Lots of beef going on. Lots of rappers yelling at each other. Lots of subliminals. Lots of in social media and everything. It's interesting the landscape of how beef was back in the day and how it is now. But that's what we're doing today. We're doing top 5 beefs, top 5 rap feuds.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're not limiting it to like sort of 1v1. It could be like sort of a camp versus another camp, or like an organization versus another, label versus label. But what we're not doing is like that. This kind of excludes the like East Coast versus West Coast type thing.
Fair.
'Cause that's like, one state where that's like a lot of
Yeah.
people, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
like,
Makes sense.
all right, so
I'm
off
gonna take this first.
okay,
I don't
Membrain.
know about a lot of rap beefs personally. I actually just got introduced to one, Jay-Z versus like whole entire New York rap.
Low-key, yeah. I
He
just put him on
literally
to-
just put that
to
on
take
me
over
like 30
Ether.
minutes ago.
Believe it or not,
You
So-
put them on the takeover in Ether.
in the car.
in the car,
You
like
were-
the car right here,
You-
like for the first time, and I was blown away. Wow.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
great.
I'm
so
very-
happy we can have
Bro,
this.
I'm
conversation.
such
Yep.
a new person when it comes to that stuff, but I think it's great. It's awesome for the culture. Number 1 for me, T.I. versus T.I.P.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah.
The biggest battles are within yourself.
Yeah.
So
Bars.
Y'all killed me. So,
Jeez.
the top 5 beefs.
Oh,
T.I. versus T.I.P.
Hey, what
Eminem
is
versus Slim Shady.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yo.
Nicki versus Roman.
Hey, yo, Johnny,
Oh.
Johnny, can you pass me a bottle of water?
Yo, get Roscoe his water, his beverage.
Water.
That carbonated water.
I feel you.
Thank you,
Yellow
my
water.
friend.
I
Pass
got
it
you.
under the table.
I got
No
you.
one sees my
All right, let's talk
water.
about it. Top
Let's talk
5
about
beefs.
it.
Top 5 beefs.
Let's talk about it.
I think in that top 5, though, definitely one of them has to definitely be Meek Mill versus Drake.
I think so.
Obviously.
I think so.
we also
Absolutely.
Because it has a top
The
5
impact
diss
itself.
track in it.
It definitely does.
Shouts
100%.
out to Meek Mill being Jesus for dying and resurrecting.
Well, yo,
It's
that's
still
another
being
thing
sort
I
of
wanted to talk
relevant.
about because like people are always like, yo, Drake killed Meek Mill, like ended his life. Nah, Meek.
No, Meek is still, yeah, he's going hard
No,
still.
but we're talking about the beef, like the back and forth, the beef between them.
But there's a lot of beefs. Like I think another beef that we have to mention and is absolutely on this list is 50 Cent and Ja Rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100%.
When was the last time you heard a Ja Rule song?
right?
Yo, Ja Rule went on Twitter and said, "Yo, I got a song with Kalani and like it's about to tear it up." And Kalani replied and said, "Don't put it out now." Like, bro, you see what he did to the man's
man.
career? Like,
Yeah, like,
Oh,
yo,
man.
beefs can, but like the selfish side of me love rap beefs. I love
Me too.
rap
Oh,
beefs,
it's
bro.
better than
yeah.
some drama.
Like, I study that shit crazy.
Well,
like
rap
if I had
is
to
all
say,
competitive.
Hmm?
At the end of the day,
It's
rap
it's
is
a
all
gladiator
competitive.
all
sport,
competitive.
yeah.
Like dead ass. If we're going one on one on a mic, like I'm gonna roast the fuck out of you. Like you're gonna get it, regardless of what we're talking about, what's happening. You're gonna get it.
Yep.
So that's rap in general, right? So
So
like
before
that's
we-
why I
yeah.
selfishly like. I love it.
that's what I like the battle rap shit. Like I actually study that stuff for a living.
Facts. Dead ass though. Like I watch that religiously all the time.
Yeah,
like,
that King of the Dog.
you were talking
Yo,
Pat
K-
Stay.
Yeah, KOTD.
You were
yeah.
talking Pat Stay. I was funny. I was watching his Pat Stay's last battle. Like
Verb?
was it
It
Verb?
was a Verb or Danny Myers.
Myers.
Yo, like he bodied him. Like, it was
Yo,
a
I was
quick
surprised
3-0.
too. I was like, I wonder how he's gonna come
I
at
could
this. And,
I could do a podcast.
that second
just on
round, bro, that second round, I was literally laughing in my fucking chair.
That's
Holy
my like
shit.
Pat Stay, one of the Canadian guys. Like he doesn't get enough credit. He's like probably
That
one of
him and
our-
Tay Rock battle is gonna be crazy.
Oh, battling
It's on Tay-Rock,
Forgot
bro.
about that. I don't know. It's in New York though, in front of the New York crowd. And Tay-Rock
it's in fucking London.
Oh, okay, yo, Pat's got it. Oh, that's like
That's what I'm
Pat's got
saying.
that.
It's gonna be a nice one.
Okay, so we've got Drake and Meek Mill. We've got Ja Rule and 50 Cent.
So can we talk? Yeah, is this my call? So can we talk about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj?
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
I think it's
How would we rank that one?
I wouldn't rank it in the top 5.
Okay, ranking from realness, as in like
It's not that real.
it's not that
It's
real.
not that serious.
It's all okay.
I don't think it is.
I put
It's all for the
Hey,
publicity.
if,
Nicki Minaj had a
Yeah.
way more serious beef with Lil Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I remember
true.
And to me, Lil Kim is like the
What's that
queen.
called? That Sheether track?
Oh,
Remy Ma? Jesus.
Sheet the Remy Ma and Nicki.
Yo, I want to
Nicki
add.
with all the female rappers, eh?
Yo, I would add the Ice Cube versus NWA beef.
I'm putting that in my
yeah,
top
true.
5. That is
True.
absolutely
I
Ice
have
Cube
to add
facing
no
off
about
against
it.
4 motherfuckers.
Shouts out,
and pretty
no
much
Vaseline.
One,
no
bro. Like
Vaseline. That's still hard, bro.
that's
That
one
has
of the
like
hardest tracks. to
early
this day.
90s.
That's like the
almost 80s
reference track
drums.
people go to when they try to make a diss track.
And it's like, yo, imagine being NWA sitting around and be like, yo, this guy actually got us. Yo, this guy actually
Okay,
got
sorry,
us.
sorry.
Remember the
before we
scene
move
where
on-
they're sitting there like in Straight Outta Compton where they're listening to it and like MC Ren's like laughing. Bro, we're fucked.
Dead ass and just like, what happened after that freestyle? Like,
Yeah, very, very interesting.
you know,
It's
it's crazy.
Um,
What is that for?
That's Drake and Meek Mill,
Got Ja.
Ja Rule and 50 Cent, and Ice Cube versus the NWA.
okay, so
I
can we talk
believe-
about Drake and Pusha T?
You're gonna
I wouldn't
two
put that
Drake
up
beefs in
there.
I want to put
Let's
that.
talk about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
let's
tough.
We can talk about
Okay,
it. We
because
can talk about it.
Drake. Okay, if you guys watched that barbershop talk with Drake and LeBron and that.
Yeah,
other
we
dude-
dissected it last week.
Did you?
It's more we didn't have.
No,
What
go ahead, talk
information
about it,
we
talk
didn't
about
have though was that 40 was apparently the person that
Yeah,
leaked the
man.
information,
Apparently.
right?
Oh,
Shouts out to
shit.
40 being a blabbermouth, but we don't know if that's true or not.
I don't
I don't know
I
if
don't
I
know.
believe
I
that.
don't know
Yo,
about
I don't know if I believe that. First of all, pillow talking, men watch the pillow talking.
Yes.
This is rule number
Careful.
1. This is an example of that. 2,
I don't think 40 is
back
that
to the thing
tragic.
what I was saying about the whole weed thing. Pusha is not gonna come on anything and be like, yeah, I told him, ruin the entire good music camp. Like, why would he do that?
Yeah.
He's gonna do
Yep.
something that's gonna benefit his camp. So
Yep.
why would he not say that? You know what I'm saying? But both sides do that. So who knows?
I think there was more of like I think Drake sort of lost the battle but won the war, kind of.
by not replying and just like
Yeah, like
as is.
it would have been like there would have been a lot more to talk about if he released that life-ending diss
So-called
track. You know, I'm
Yeah,
like, you know
exactly.
what? That's gonna come out one day, and it's
You
when
think so?
when it comes out is gonna be after we found out that Drake and Kim smashed. After Kim and Kanye have a whole
Drake versus good
explosive-
music.
Listen. Right after Kanye and Kim have a nuclear breakup and it fucks up the E channel and people go out of business and everything.
True.
Kanye has a
What's the E
public
channel?
suicide attempt. I'm not wishing that. Oh man, I'm not trying to put this energy out there. I'm just saying, it's gonna come down to it. They're gonna go through some shit and then it's gonna kind of be like, oh, I'm out to sunken place now, and then we're gonna hear this track
Sure.
when it's not as interesting and everything.
Yeah,
Okay,
bro.
since you and Donnie both listen to battle rap, Drake said there are fucking rules in this shit.
It depends, man. Like, for example,
You said Pat Stay. I'll use him as the example.
Yeah.
Pat Stay is one of my favorite battle rappers, probably my second or
for
third
real,
next
man?
to Hitman, right? The dude, you know why he's my favorite battle rapper? The dude went into a battle and made fun of homie's mentally challenged like brother and stuff like that.
Oh
Made fun
shit!
of his
Give
dead
zero
dad and stuff like.
fucks.
This is when I say like, yo, when I study those rap, I love that ignorance. I like that soul crushing like
Yeah.
like when you hear it, it's
Like
like
it's
that's
more than just
me.
words.
Yeah,
It's
like,
more than just
You can read
words.
somebody's spirit with like a sentence, like I
Oh.
love that kind of stuff because it's competitive. It's not real life. You're not
Exactly.
you're talking about real shit, but it's the format, the umbrella it's under, right?
Mhm.
So no, there are no rules, especially when you mention homeboy's fiance, and like I'm gonna let it ring on you like Virginia. It's fair game.
That's
You think so?
That's a great
You think
bar.
so?
I think that's just a bar. It's just a great
You
bar.
think that it's that warrants the response?
I also think
That's like I
If-
hope your
if I'm
MS-ridden friend dies.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. You're comparing the ring on it like whatever to 666. Like you're gonna compare those two?
He didn't say 40. Like my mom has MS. Like it's not a death sentence. It's not like something that people die from it or die and it slows down and it makes their life go quicker and everything. But like maybe just because my mom deals so well with having MS that
Sure.
like, when I heard Pusha T be like, "Oh, your man has MS and he's dying," I'm like
But see,
Who's not dying?
rap beats is about public perception, right?
exactly.
So it's
That's
just
why
like
he also framed it as like the deadbeat thing and
Exactly.
everything. Is like
Is there
like what Jake said, the chess move. How
Yeah,
many
the chess
times
move
have
is
you listened to
important.
Story About It on since it came out? How many times you listened to Duppy? More times than
more
that, right?
times, yeah, I'm
Exactly,
not gonna-
right?
yeah.
Both
Won
once.
the war.
I think
Won the war. We're still talking about
Okay, so speaking of winning wars, who won the war between him and Meek?
That's
Drake.
obvious. Drake. Like
Drake bodied him, but it's just
bodied
Meek Mill was
him,
able
bro.
to recover.
It was the first time we ever seen such a thing.
So
That's so, like,
Drake
so
so
disrespectful.
Meek didn't win the war at all. Is what you're saying.
No, Meek lost.
I think Meek
Meek
regained.
lost.
So
Meek regained
he didn't. So the fact that
The silver lining for him
Okay,
is that
I'm
he's
not-
still popular.
I'm only playing devil's advocate here. By the way, I'm only playing devil's advocate.
please
Okay.
do.
So the fact that Meek Mill just said that he has ghostwriters didn't affect Drake at all.
It did. People
'Cause
still
Drake
talk
is
about
a
it.
pop
to this
star.
day.
Exactly.
Drake is a pop star.
and
dude. I don't
did
give a
this
fuck.
and did that literally not go lead up to his next beef?
Sure.
But the thing is, too, like, what left a bigger chink in his armor? That he worked with Quentin Miller on a bunch of songs, or that he was supposedly had a kid that he didn't tell anybody about? People didn't really give a shit about the
The
Quentin Miller thing.
ghostwriting.
Other rappers, other people in the industry cared about that. His fans didn't give a shit. They were
They
still
don't care
yelling
regardless.
back to back.
Yeah,
It was
But
like,
that, but that comes okay. But
back to
this
back
is
also
no,
top
this is
five
tough.
diss track.
Okay, yeah, that's a tough
Oh,
track.
that's
But this is
another
tough
list.
because we're talking about Drake. Like he's a rap artist / a pop artist. So all these people saying that the child thing was worse are probably the pop fans. Like the hip hop fans, the ones that literally brought him into this.
No,
are the
no
ones
rules. That's not out of bounds. Yeah, like us. Like, well, I don't know.
Well,
You think it's too much?
what?
Him saying about his 40 and his parents and
I think it's all fair game.
Me too.
Honestly, I
Me too.
can't.
Fair
I
game.
Me
don't.
too.
I can't say that
If it's out
that's
there
too far
and it's
because
like
of the fact
public
that like
knowledge, yeah.
because of the fact like
Fair
yo
game.
in battle rap you need to know like who you're going against and you need to know that if he's going to go that far you got to be prepared.
that's the
you gotta
thing.
be prepared
As
to-
Drake, you
to
should
do
know that people are gonna pull out all stops. on you,
Literally.
bro.
And Drake tried
Especially
to.
Pusha T.
Drake put $100,000 to find info. Like he tried to do the same shit.
Yeah, but that might be in the song that we have never heard or something. You know, he may have gotten something from it. Just Pusha played
did,
all that
he did.
shit on Joe Budden's podcast and stuff, and it's like, okay.
Wait,
like,
Pusha played the part that
He played like
what they recorded.
voice recordings of people trying to get
Ooh,
information.
I didn't
from
hear that
Pusha's
part.
people.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, no,
I only heard that
it
that
stirs the
played it
pot.
for
Did you see
him.
the joke? You know what? Like, I dissected the whole Drake and Pusha T thing. Do we want to put this in a top? Like, is this a top 5 beef ever?
Okay, let's recap
Ever?
which one the
Nah.
Drake and Push. No,
Drake and Meek Mill to me, because that was such a moment. Like,
It was a moment.
That
back
is
to back. Like, I put up there with Ether, Takeover, and stuff like that. Right.
It was a moment.
Speaking of which,
Great.
I think that's probably the next beef.
Which one?
Jay and Nas.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
And there's only
I
one
just
more.
found out about it now, but yeah.
That's
Oh,
hold
yeah.
on, hold on,
Find
hold
about
on.
it.
Like, this is like
Yeah.
actually
Now?
like, I love this kind of shit. Like, I
Yeah.
never will have this chance again. So this was your first time
Yeah.
hearing Takeover. and Ether.
Absolutely.
What did you think was the better song?
Oh, fuck. Just dissecting them both one time.
And hearing it once for the first time.
Jay-Z, like, he just went off. I think Jay-Z takes it for me personally, just because he was able to fuck everybody in like the New York rap game and then have a whole entire verse just dedicated to Nas. I think he went
That's an
off.
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man, because I always take that approach to prove why it's not like a. Because it's like,
Oh.
oh, if this ended Nas and shit. There's one verse about Nas on there. Like,
Yeah.
the rest is about New York. And yeah, okay.
And he,
the way
that set it off
Spartan-
for him to write a whole entire rap too in response. Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think if it took like one verse to do that, I think it's
I
awesome.
think people forget how Takeover and Ether happened. Like
I
the way it
have
came,
no
like,
idea.
like the way it came to be, like Jay was kind of always throwing lickle shots like at Nas. That Summer Jam, he was going like he had the Takeover song. Just the first verse of Takeover came out on some K-Slay mixtape. K-Slay was a DJ for Hot 97 at the time, and he went on Summer Jam, put the pictures of Prodigy up there in the two. You remember?
Yep.
We put them in the
R.I.P.
tutu and
Prodigy,
everything.
by the way.
Huh?
R.I.P.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace, Prodigy,
Rest in peace.
man. Like, yo, literally one of the greatest ever.
One of
One
the
of the best pens ever. But he put the shit up in Prodigy, and it was kind of like that second verse, that third verse wasn't really there. Or the third verse, that's the one about Nas, right? Because it's the second verse where he goes, axe Nas, you don't want it, well, Hove. No, like that was the only Nas diss there really was at the time, right? And Nas was just kind of like, okay, let's play ball, right?
Yeah,
And
for
draw, and like Ether was the response to Takeover. And he put out Ether, and he was like, okay, it's Ether. And then Blueprint came out a week later, and the Takeover version that was on Blueprint had that third verse, and nobody had heard it until that point. So
Mhm.
technically, like
I thought
the
it was
way that-
sick.
the way that they went back and forth, huh?
I thought it was sick. Yeah.
Takeover.
Yeah.
That I listened to Takeover more than Ether and stuff like that. People like I researched it for just to recap before doing this topic too. People really thought Nas got him the fuck out of here with Ether,
Really?
right?
Yeah, no, I
think about
agree.
it.
Yeah.
I
Think
agree.
about it,
I was.
I don't know.
Team
Yeah.
Nas.
Enough about
I thought Ether
the background.
kills it.
Ether was like vicious, you know, like it was.
Ether has replay value as well. You listen to that shit
used
over and
as a
over.
child, he called you ugly and stuff like that. Like,
Which is
it was
weird because Nas doesn't really pick good beats if you think about it. And like the
another hot take.
Okay, that's a hot take, bro.
okay,
I need
I
but
agree with you, but it's a hot take. I know some people will fight
it is
you
a hot
on
take.
this.
It is a hot take. And like, yo, I'll take the at me if you want to at me. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
It's an at me.
It's an at me take.
Yo,
man.
we can talk about it.
Donnie Black.
If you know your culture, come at me.
You want all
You know your
that
culture,
smoke.
come at me.
All the smoke. You have smoke. He wants it.
I'll French inhale it, fam. And you're not ready for it.
Wow, that's
You're not
impressive.
ready for it.
Jeez.
With the shit.
Damn.
With the shit.
Donnie's with the shits. So like, I don't know. Because it's like a saying, right? You got ethered. Like that's a thing. We don't say you got takeovered, right? There's sort of like that
Fair.
cultural aspect of it, but I don't know. I've never heard somebody be broken down the way that Nas like.
Mhm.
Your first sound was you know the
Yeah.
way he sort of breaks down his career with like you put one. That's a one hot album
Every
Every 10 years, yeah.
Oh,
That when I heard
my
that whole entire
God.
thing just tore it apart for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Real.
Yeah.
That was.
That
But that didn't come out. That came out after Ether. What
So
people
do you
don't
think-
know.
but I heard that one first.
Yo, do you
Yeah,
think
so-
that Ether would have been that he would have like? Do you think that he would have rewritten Ether if he heard the second verse
No, because I
first?
still think Ether was hitting harder at the time.
At the
even
time,
with
like
the new
when
verse.
it dropped.
And the thing is, what Jay-Z did to reply to that was, remember Super Ugly?
Yeah.
And he was like, remember Hot 97 was like owned New York for a day. It was like, yo, 3 o'clock this day, Jay-Z is
Jay-Z
dropping the
response.
response to
Yeah.
Ether.
I seen
He's
that.
dropping Super, and Super Ugly was cool, but it wasn't a good response.
And
like,
Nas flipped that perfectly. He flipped that. He's like, yo, you talked about women, man. You can't do that. I was like, whoa.
Oh yeah, left condoms on your baby
Yeah,
seat.
left, like,
you know,
seat in
this is
your
what I mean.
Jeep,
No,
left
Drake,
condoms in your baby
no,
seat,
no
like,
one goes too far with this
You know what I'm
shit.
saying?
What
But
did
you flip
Tupac
that.
say?
It's
to
perception,
Prodigy?
right?
What do y'all got? Sickle cell? You don't die with me. My fofo make your kids
y'all
don't
kids
grow.
don't
like,
grow.
nah, bro, it's real. That's the next one. That's the next one. That's our 5.
Yeah.
That's our 5.
We got Drake and Meek, NWA and Ice Cube,
Tupac Biggie.
Tupac Biggie, which
50,
we didn't talk about.
50 and
We
Jay.
didn't talk about
I
it.
mean,
We didn't
Ja
talk
about it.
Rule.
50 Ja Rule and Jay-Z and Nas.
Jay-Z and Nas, yeah.
Cool.
That's actually a fire
Get the strap.
Get the strap.
Get the
Oh,
Yo,
strap.
shout out 50 Cent.
another one
We're
of
still
those
being-
black. Actually, I don't know if I can call them black excellence, but like
50
Sure,
Cent?
No,
sure you
50?
can. Sure you can.
50?
50.
Yes, you can. I can say that.
Yo,
I'm
do you
gonna
guys
say
do you guys
black
do you guys
Okay.
bump many men when you're in your feelings and just be like, yo, fuck.
Yo,
I don't know that song.
I bump many men
You
at
don't
the
know many
gym.
men?
Nope.
You don't
Yo,
know many
I'll
men.
lift 4 plates bumping many men at the gym, bro. I'll bench
Many
press
men?
4 or 5 plates. That shit
Yeah.
gets me so
I've
hyped.
seen it. I don't know what's bumping in the headphones, but I've seen it.
Okay.
He's got this look.
5 plates down.
Anyways, we are we reached our allotted time. Man, this is why I said like I want rappers on my show. We can have topics about rap. You know, we
That
really
was
talk about
fun.
this shit.
That was fun.
Let's talk about hip
That
hop.
was fun.
Yeah,
fucking
no,
awesome,
it
man.
absolutely was. We're just sort of wrapping up the podcast segment here. Is there what you guys got going? What are we looking for next from 95?
Oh, 95.
95. We
man.
probably have a single coming out
I know,
sometime in
Membrain-
November.
Membrain's coming out with
Yeah,
a
guys,
whole
the next
ass,
up the group,
a
the
whole
first
ass
album.
tape soon.
Membrain's up coming up with the album.
Yeah,
Yeah,
putting me on
I
a
was-
thing.
I was there on one of the sessions for the song, and I was like, "Yo, you just gotta let me like you
Y'all gotta be
know?"
checking for that.
It's
What-
got a fun vibe to it. You definitely got to check it out.
any more
It's
we
gonna
can
be
get
fun.
From that? Like when's it coming out? Does it have a name?
Tentatively, Godless is coming out sometime in December. Look out for it.
Godless. Sometime
yeah,
in
Godless.
September.
Yeah,
December,
wait for-
December.
September.
December.
Wait, that's a minute.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, December. I want to drop something before the end of this year, and it's gonna
December,
happen.
Look out for it. You know, Donnie Roscoe with
Donnie, what do you want to promote right now?
Honestly, like everyone so far that supported us, that hit us up, that's been playing the tracks that we have out right now.
Yeah,
like,
shouts out
we-
to everybody.
Shouts out to
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Honestly, like
The
we
response we're getting from
appreciate it
Bobbit is
We're getting
fantastic.
a lot of positive responses.
Yeah.
Like, and
Shout to the
stuff
people that are playing it on Spotify on repeat. Damn.
Yo, honestly,
I'm
like,
trying to make those royalties, dog. Keep bumping that shit. Know what I'm saying?
we really appreciate it, man. Because we
Yeah,
got
it's
some.
absolutely
we're,
fantastic.
We
I
got,
love
we're ready
every
to
single
work.
one of
We
you.
are
Take that
fucking.
shit, put it on repeat. Go to
Yeah.
bed.
Repeat, put
No,
on your
for real.
workout playlist. Put it on your sex playlist when you're
All
fucking
that
on your
shit.
bay.
All
Put
that
that
shit.
on.
Especially Roscoe's
Hey.
verse. God damn.
Goddamn.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Air
We love
horns
you
on
guys.
that
Thank
bitch.
you.
Also, I want to say shout out Dimes and shout out King of Sons. Making some more music out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some hot ass instrumentals.
Some hot ass
Oh,
shit.
but we do got a fire freestyle coming up soon.
Oh, we'll get
that's gonna be
no,
nice.
that's another
Look out
thing.
for your
No,
boy on
like
there.
a track freestyle for,
Oh, okay.
for Spotify.
Oh.
We got you guys
That's
soon.
what we're doing.
Yeah, like
That's
the first
what we're
track,
doing?
we got you guys for the first track. The second track, we're coming with bars. We got you guys.
That's
don't worry.
Cypher. Trev's getting me up my bag.
Oh.
We got him. We got you
Donnie
guys
got
at
me
the
up my
bag.
and
I had to
stuff.
do it. I had to
Up
put
until
up.
8 in the morning.
I had to put on.
Reading
Yo,
deadlines
shout out
for
to.
verses.
Also,
anyways, I'm just a podcast.
sorry, real quick. Shout out to everybody that's doing their thing in Hamilton. There's music coming out in Hamilton that's fire. In Ottawa, that's fire. Yo, the
not
GTA
just
is
Toronto.
really. It's not just Toronto.
We're all
Yo, the whole
talented.
GTA. Everybody is doing their thing. There's a lot of music coming out. Yo,
It's
just
hot fire
hot. Just be ready.
and
Be
quality
ready.
shit.
It's
Be
quality
ready.
music. It's
And
not
you
just
know, look out for
quantity.
your
It's
boys.
quality.
Look out for your boys. We love you, and just rock with
sir.
us. Just rock with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, have
You
fun
got
with
nothing
us.
to lose.
It's gonna be an adventure.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it has been the Sunday's Best Podcast. Thank you for tuning in with us. Look out for that Cypher featuring 95. That's going to be dropping. I'm going to leave you guys with their latest drop, Bop It. You know, you can catch your boy in the music video. You can see the broken hearts. You can see the Sunday's Best in there.
Shout out Broken
It's
Hearts.
all there. So, Sunday's Best Culture. It has been
YouTube.com/95.
live. We'll be back next week with the lovely Chris Raga. Oh, I'm looking forward to that too. So, stay tuned. You know, thanks again for tuning in. Sunday's Best Culture. We out. Here.
Sir. Yo, who is that?
I don't know, but she's looking.
Nah, she's beautiful.
I know, dog. God damn.
That might be my next wifey.
Nah, you're crazy, dog.
I gotta go talk to her.
No, you're not gonna talk to her.
What do you mean? I gotta go talk to her.
Nah, I think you should.
Alright, bet. I'll be back.
Nah, you're fucking crazy, dog.
Excuse me. Hold up, let me stop you, baby. This may sound crazy, but the way you moving got me thinking. God that he created you, and I many from my waking mood. Basic 2 steps difficult, it figures though I'd fall in love with someone from another town. How about you and me? Walk the streets, talk with me. Tell me what your mama think about that job you hate. Shit, don't mean to be flagrant about decision making. You made that at a young age, girl. We all make mistakes. Girls beg for attention and they get it and throw shade, which is why it's out my character to come at you this way. Don't mean to get too personal, the words are slurring. Liquid courage boosting my ego. Every king need a queen though, right? Pop it. Hey, let's get it, let's get it. Pull it. Twist it. We twist it, we twist it. Bop it, pull it, twist it. Bop it, pull it, bop it, pull it, twist it.
Hey, lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with a little bit of lean, so rock, baby, top it. See a new whip for my dreams, I'ma cop it. Top down with a model, baby, in the cockpit. She a hot topic, hair, I'ma pull it. Hips, I'ma twist it, lips, I'ma kiss it. Top of all that, baby girl, let me pop it. Top of all that, baby girl, let me pop it. Come fuck with a real one, I'm the man. Got a van full of fans, finna bring fans. If you got none, it's cool, chill with the band. If you got none, come chill with the band. Hey, shawty, come dance on me. In nice pants, hey, answer me. I'ma hit it right with accuracy. Can the weekend come faster, please? Bop it, bop, 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 bop it. Hey, pull it, pull it. Come on, Membrain, show me what's about. Twist it. You gotta show these motherfuckers what they doing wrong and show them how to do it right. You know what I'm saying? Get it, boy.
You know what we doing, let me get right to it. This for all the fresh females handling business. Up in the gym, always working on that fitness. Like come and get a witness, give me something for that vision.
Let me see that.
So sweet, it's so vicious.
So vicious.
On her knees, hope she Christian. She like daddy, hit me like a poppy. I'm like cakes, no delay. To the line, I make my play. Touchdown, poppy. Yeah, pull it. Yeah, you gotta twist it. Bop it, pull it, twist it. Bop it, pull it, bop it, pull it, twist it. Hey.